Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're talking Shannon Sharpe, Club Shay Shay. Anything I say is alleged in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. It is free to follow me. Free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. Free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea Podcast. There is new content over there, you guys. Free to follow me on my Tickety Talk at Anonymous Tea Podcast. Free to follow me on the Instagram. On the Instagram is at Anonymous Reality Tea. Free to share everywhere. Free to like the video so it gets out to the algorithm. Free to share with your family, your friends, and your foes. And if you are coming or going, don't forget to hit the like button. So we need to talk Club Shay Shay. Damon Wayans, y'all. Damon Wayans was the star this week of the Club Shay Shay interview. And it has, I think, already 2 million views. You cannot go wrong with having comedians on this platform. You cannot go wrong with having anybody from the Wayans family. I still have to get through the interview, y'all, because you guys don't understand like how much time I don't have. Like I don't. But I try to, in passing, like listen to some of it. And so I will do my best to give you a summary of like what I heard. And in this piece, it's gonna kind of just be, we're just gonna be kind of jumping from topic to topic. A lot of it, the first like hour-ish or so, is really about Damon Wayans' upbringing. Well, before all of that, a lot of the interview, y'all, in that first hour was, Marlon said this. Marlon said this in his Club Shay Shay interview. Marlon said this in his Club Shay Shay interview. And I was like, so are we going to ask original questions? Are we going to let Damon talk? like what is going on? Marlon said this. So that was a lot in the first hour. And, nonetheless, now Marlon was on Club Shay Shay, but I get it. Like, we can have our own questions for each of the brothers. And Kim, if she ever does an interview or goes on Club Shay Shay. But nonetheless, Damon talked about his upbringing, talked about having clubfoot, talked about, growing up in humble beginnings, how they, all the siblings would try to make each other laugh, play different games, beat each other's behinds. Damon talked about how he struggled in school, how he was in special needs class for like a week, and then his mom pulled him out, and his homework was how to fold paper. Y'all. But he got clown. But basically, they were taught not to, take any mess from nobody. And essentially, since their oldest brother was considered, loco, people were scared to get into the fights with the Wayans family. And he said his sister Kim used to beat people up all the time. He said as well that his mom she would always have hold one baby, and she was always pregnant, and she had to chase somebody down allegedly at the laundromat to let him know don't F with their kids. And then he also said that he was scared of his father because he would get into trouble. He would get bad grades in school. He had a guidance counselor that basically said that you're going to end up unalived or in jail. And so nonetheless, when he got arrested, because he got arrested for theft, and basically his father ordered him and his mom, they kept telling him, you need to be more like Keenan. You need to be more like Keenan Ivory Wayans and all this and that. And at the time, Damon didn't understand it. But then they shipped him off to go live with Keenan out in California. And then he realized he understood. He said he'd rather live with Keenan any day than to go back home to his father. Because his father would have whooped his behind, and he said, what they call that now is child ABUSC, of the type of lashings that they were getting. Then there was a funny story about somebody else that they had a friend or neighbor, somebody else in the projects, and they said that that neighbor was so poor that they didn't have an oven on their door, and the kids would have to put their feet up against the oven or whatever, and until it got too hot, and it is wild, y'all. And basically Damon's father, I think, only made like $12,000 a year, and but he said, you know, his mom made magic happen, made sure that they all had food to eat, they all had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and all this and that. Said that there was like 3 people to a room, and all this and that, and yeah, it really, I love the principles though, that, you know, everybody in the family is still really close, and the comedy and the funny is like a huge part of kind of what makes them great. Also, they talked Katt Williams, y'all. They talked Katt Williams, and, you know, Damon said that Katt Williams is hilarious. He said he's hilarious. He said that he's opened up for him before, that Katt Williams has been the opening act for Damon, and Katt Williams had him, you know, step his game up. He said Katt, when he was younger, used to slide across the stage. He would get standing ovations for 20-minute sets, and that's why he had him on a couple of episodes of My Wife and Kids. Now, Shannon Sharp had brought up how the Jamie Foxx show creator, and I believe Jamie Foxx might have said so as well, that they're not really getting, you know, if anything, residual checks after all these years, even though the show was very successful, and they said that their show is still in the red. And so basically Damon, how he explained it, he was like, listen, looky here, like, if you were on the WB or Fox, you're basically not getting good residual checks because they were considered startup companies. But if you were on established companies such as NBC, CBS, and ABC, like those were long-standing networks, you're going to get those checks. And he basically did like a little plug there for My Wife and Kids, and was like, listen, I'm living nice. I'm living nice off of the My Wife and Kids checks. I don't have to hurt for nothing. He said when A Living Color, because Living Color was on Fox, he says he gets residual checks from A Living Color 39 cents. And he was like, this is nothing. This is, you know, we are way worth more than that, right? But he said those wife and kids checks are immaculate. And he also threw a little shade in at his brothers, but basically said, listen, the Wayans brothers, they're not they're not getting no money from, you know, no residuals, y'all. And because again, that, you know, if it was on the Fox or WB/UPN, they were considered startup companies. They got sweetheart deals with SAG-AFTRA and everything else. Now, Damon also talked about the fact that, you know, he is divorced from his wife. He cheated on her. And he had a story basically where he was saying that, you know, he was, you know, being the good family guy at first, but then I think as a star started to rise, he started to, you know, see what was up. And so he said that, you know, he cheated on his wife with one of these actresses, right? And so he lost his family, you know, he had left his wife for this woman and all this and that, only to find out that this actress that he left his wife for, she went on to hook up with the next person that she had another movie role or TV role with. And he said that's what happens a lot of time in these acting roles, is like you might have an affair with somebody and you think it's going to lead to something, a happily ever after, but they just do the same thing to the next person. They fall for the next person on set, or they may be like having different flings. And so he's basically like I gave all this up. I gave up my family for this. And so the actress told him, y'all, you should tell your wife what you told my character, and she might take you back. No, what? Like Little John, what? But to kind of tie this into a bow, because I might have to do a couple parts of this interview breakdown, is he said that for many years, he said he is paying his wife, you know, his ex-wife, they were married 19 years, a lot in alimony. They had 4 kids together. I mean, Damon Jr. just looks like the splitting image, but it's a good mix of him and his ex-wife. But he said for a long time, there was a lot of hatred, there was a lot of resentment and all this and that. And he said it finally got to the point because his ex-wife was always invited to the family gatherings and stuff because there's a lot of kids and a lot of Wayans. And so sometimes she would be sitting far across the room from everyone, but they've got grandkids and stuff together. And so he said he said about 7 years ago, what ended up happening, they were at another family gathering, and he said his ex came up and just like sat next to him, and she just started talking, and they talked about, they were reminiscing on a few stories, and it got really, cool. And so then the kids and the grandkids, they were all in awe. They were all in shock because for a while they just, it was on bad terms. Everything was on bad terms, but they were able to let go of the anger and the resentment and to really, show that they could get along and everything else for the sake of their kids and their grandkids. And Damon said he's at the point now where he tells his ex-wife that he loves her. He sees her all the time now. And he said that he just saw her last week and he told her that he loved her. And she made a comment, that we did right by the kids and the grandkids and this and that. And he was like, yeah. And he said, it's beautiful. He said, we have a beautiful relationship now, but we really decided 7 years ago to, for the sake of our kids and our grandkids, we got to let go of the anger and the animosity and everything else of the breakdown of our marriage. Even though it was all my fault, I'm the reason that we're divorced, we got to let all this go so that for the sake of, these family gatherings, to be a hit. So that's all I wanted to wrap up in this particular video. There's a lot more meat and potatoes that I got to talk about as it pertains to this interview, but let me know what y'all think in the comments about this portion of the interview. And did any of y'all see the Club Shay Shay interview with Damon Wayans? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.